guys, to the final edition to Single Dad Seeking Our Thoughts and Recap. This episode was intense.
2 hours of it, guys. 2 hours.
Intense. Okay, so let's start off with Denise and John, just because I think we've never started off with Denise and John. Alright, drum roll please. Not really a drum roll, I don't know what that was. Okay, so, they first start off with making Thanksgiving dinner, and just to kind of recap on them, they were only going to be together for 3 weeks. And the last episode, they were like, we got to move a little bit faster because we're only together 3 weeks to see if this is going to work. Well, okay, so they were kind of excited about that, or I should say Denise was. Then Mr. Elijah was kind of grumpy this episode, it seemed. And John had him eat, and then he had him take a nap, and John just went up there and took a nap with him. And I felt bad for Denise this entire episode, because she was just, really trying and felt out of place.
Well, it was kind of like she was wanting to do stuff together, and she felt like she's not there.
Yeah,
John was always with Elijah or doing stuff with him, or okay, because her and John were trying to cook Thanksgiving dinner together,
and then he would go and entertain Elijah, and he was like, my son comes first, and in his voiceover and everything. And I understand that, I do, and he felt like he needed to comfort his son and stuff like that. I get that to an extent, but some of it I was like, oh, come on, guy. And then she went to kiss him when Elijah was still asleep, and he did that.
He did a little silly,
yeah.
And so she was trying to be kind of serious because making it more emotional, and he started kind of being on the guy side. I mean, just making it a little funny. And then he started kind of burping some and just kind of...
I feel like at that point, he knew it wasn't going to work. And so he just kind of just decided, okay, here's me. The real me, the true me. I feel like it is edited, so we won't really know the full truth. But I feel like the way that they portrayed it, it was like he knew he wasn't going to work. Because she was she couldn't, every time she tried to do something, she felt like she was out. And then, so then it just got to the, she knew she was ready to go. Oh, and then they were cleaning up, and then Elijah was like, I'm ready for Denise to go home. She needs to leave. I just want it to be you and me, Dad. And he was like, oh, be nice, Elijah. And he said, I am being nice. And then he says, I know you are. And I was like, no, he's not. And then right then I really felt bad for her, because it was he just basically told you in front of the cameras he's done. So just go get your stuff.
And John said something about, oh, she won't be here much longer, or something to that line.
Yeah, it'll be just me and you soon, or something like that. And I was like, okay, I was like, I would have left the dinner, the dishes and everything, and I'd have just gone and packed my stuff and left. And that was pretty much her. And then at the end of their segment, she said that no, they didn't work out, but she had come here looking for love, but had made good friends, and she hugged Elijah and said that she was gonna miss him and all that. And then he just said that he wasn't ready, and that he moved a lot slower. And he just needed him and Elijah time. And I was like, okay, way to burn. Anyway, I really liked her. I really, really did. I feel like she would have been, I don't know where she's at in her life now, but I feel like she'd be like that stepmom that all kids would love. Okay, so next we're going to go with Jake and Amy. Okay, so Jake and Amy, they start theirs they go out with his brother and his sister-in-law to have some drinks and to eat. And Nate starts asking her some questions, They talk about they had been talking online for a month before they did the whole move in and see if this was really going to work. And he starts asking her some questions like, where's this going and stuff like that. And Jake goes, good question, like when she gets on that airplane and she leaves. And it was like, what? And that just really was like, okay, thanks, Jake. That's an awkward way of putting things. And I feel like the brother was being really sweet, like, oh, do y'all connect? How is the connecting? How have you been liking it here? And then
I think she really tried. I think she had the connection, or she felt.
Yeah, I did. And I think I feel like she did, and I feel like she really tried to, even though you didn't really see it in the show, I feel like she tried to connect with the kids. I feel like he kind of flip-flopped during the episodes, but I feel like he hadn't made his decision, and he hadn't told her. And then he basically kind of nonchalantly, I don't know. He kind of just told her there at dinner, like, he wasn't ready to date. Like, I feel like she basically got her answer. And it was like, because they get back to the house, and again, I don't know how much this is edited, but like the look on her face, it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I've just realized I'm not ready to date. And I was like, basically, you just said that to her at the dinner. And I felt really bad, and I'm pretty sure his brother felt really awkward about that too. I was like, oh. And she was really, really upset about it, and you could tell, like, she was crying, and she was like, she wanted to be with somebody that wanted to be with her, and that was ready to be with her, and she had really, really strong feelings for him.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, after all this, he says, how do you feel about it? And I was like, too late, Jake, too late. And, he did make the comment, like, she's probably feeling like she wasn't good enough and all that. And he's like, me, I just need to be here with my kids and stuff. And I do agree, because a part of Jake was, just from the start, he was kind of, like, really wishy-washy the whole time. And it was like, come on, Jake, like, figure this out. You didn't get to see her interact, like, on her own with the kids as much, which I would have liked that, to see more of that, but that's what you get. When you only got an hour each episode and 5 dads to get to know. But I did like that. Anyway, I don't know. I felt like it really broke her heart. Like, she definitely... She definitely wanted more.
She she was trying. She made the, and like Jake said, he probably wasn't ready and just thinks that, and it does take a long time to get over somebody that you've either been with for a very long time. Yeah, because he'd been married,
I think, 12 years.
Or something.
Yeah.
But...
Or with her for 12.
So it does take time, and you can't... they have that, supposedly, that there's a rule, like, you can go out and meet people, but don't get in a serious relationship until so far after a divorce or...
Yeah.
The end of a serious relationship.
Yeah, give yourself time to heal. Which I think is good. I mean, I think at least he owned it up to his, his choice and stuff. Also, Jake let it spill on his Facebook page, which he probably wasn't supposed to do, but that him and Amy were not together, 2 weeks ago or so? He let it slip, and I was like, well, we're just not going to say anything to that. But he did say she was a really sweet lady. He was glad he did meet her. He was glad he had done the show. He did, wish her well and everything.
Yeah.
And so far, I don't see anything about him dating anybody new. So I guess that, hopefully that means he was really focusing on his kids and stuff. So which is good. John and Denise, I can't find anything on them, so I don't really know what's going on with them. And Elijah. Okay. Next couple. We're going to go to Jason and Sarah. And this was interesting. He had a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old, so you got a teen and a preteen. He had an ex Mary Ellen that was pretty much mom to the girls. It was pretty much like having a birth mom still in the picture. And they arrange a meetup with Mary Ellen and Sarah. And they like all sit around the campfire, like this little like fire in the backyard, and they have s'mores, and it goes really awkward. Like there's a lot of silence, and even the girls mentioned how awkward it was, and they were like, "Come on, y'all are adults, like make this work." And Sarah, I really like Sarah because she picked up on body language. She tended to be able to tell when people's moods changed, and she would just like flat out like say, your body language is different, or the way you're approaching me is different. Like she was really good about that in each episode. She really tried hard to connect with his daughters, which is hard with teens and preteens. I feel it's not as easy. And so when she met Mary Ellen was like focused on the girls, which I kind of understand because you're in an awkward situation. You want them to be comfortable in it. At the same time, they had been getting to know Sarah, so they are going to be a little bit more comfortable than if this was Mary Ellen and the girls' first time meeting her. And then she would talk to Jason, and Jason and her were having these conversations about the apartment and giving her stuff from the house and just random conversations that is completely Sarah has, can't be a part of. And then here you go. This is where it gets a little awkward. So she's like, "So how are you with the girls in the instant family?" And of course Sarah's just like, "Oh, I love it," and just all excited about it. And then little do we know until they're back that the entire time, well, I wouldn't say the whole entire time, but I feel like during that meeting Jason and Mary Ellen had already been talking. And as you guys can see if you've already watched the episode, Sarah and Jason talk, and she's like, "The whole time I've been here, you've been texting her and calling her and meeting up with her, and it's like, you're still in love with her, that you're still with her, that, you've," and he had mentioned she's still his best friend. And I was like, well, okay, that could be a little awkward. That may not be. They can still make it work because of the girls, But basically, they both realized they're still in love with each other, and they were going to get back together.
And I think that's how it came across, was as maybe Mary Ellen seen him trying to start
Move
something
on,
with
yeah.
somebody else, and maybe it sparked feelings back again, or something along that line. But when it all came out, it's like, yeah, they've been talking back and forth, and then whenever Mary Ellen goes leaves, like, "We need to talk." I was like,
Yeah, and then it really did. And then like basically she's like, "Why am I even here?" And I feel like during that meeting, and I don't know for sure, but I feel like during that meeting he already knew he wasn't going to be with Sarah, that he was going to be with Mary Ellen. He was going to go back to Mary Ellen. And so it was really sad because she's like, she just started packing her stuff. She made herself a flight back home, and she started packing her stuff. So she was like, I'm not staying another week for this to be goodbye. I'm not, the same thing with Amy. It was like, I'm not staying another week for this to be awkward. And it was even sad for the girls. And I really liked what the girls said, because the girls started crying, and the whole time the girls had a hard time seeing him without Mary Ellen. And then it was like the girls were okay, and then the girls were sad Sarah was leaving. And the girls were saying that she told them it's okay not to be normal, to be yourself. People will love you for you, and she was different, and it's okay to be different, and it's okay to not be normal. And they were gonna miss her laughter and her kindness in the house. And I really thought that was really sweet, and the fact that they added that on there, and the girls were sad that she was leaving. And it was like, this whole time, we've been seeing how they were having a hard time visualizing seeing dad with somebody else, and then all of a sudden they were like, we're gonna miss her. And I was like, oh
yeah.
So that broke my heart too, because it felt like she was really, really trying with him and with the girls. Yeah. And to me, like, they were the perfect couple. I was like, if anybody's gonna make it, it's gonna be them two. They just seem so perfect for each other. And then, crash and burn. And supposedly, from all the rumors, they're still, Mary Ellen and him are still together. So, congratulations, guys. I'm glad you figured it out. And you got back together. We do wish you well.
Kids be probably pretty happy about that too.
Yeah. We do wish you well, even though we're kind of sad. Or I am. I don't know about him. Okay, so then let's see. Let's go to Paul and Cali. Dude, you're missing my eyes. Okay. I'm the one talking over here. Okay, so Paul and Cali. This one. Whew. This one. Okay. So, Cali invites Paul to meet her family back in North Carolina. And it doesn't say why they were meeting, or I don't remember them saying why they were going. But basically, they go to meet her family. And they take up all the kids and everything, and they head up there. And when they get there, you can tell he's kind of nervous to meet the family. And she keeps saying, their opinion matters, their opinion matters, their opinion really matters. And I'm like, boo-boo, we know. Their opinion matters. And so they kind of come in, and they start with, the mom starts asking, her mom starts asking, like, a lot of questions. And again, I feel like this just Paul's, he just doesn't come across maybe the best way on camera. Or, like, at first. Like, it just takes him a little while
when he gets put into situations, he gets kind of closed up and just doesn't want to really talk. And then her parents or her family is grilling him, or he's feeling like he's being grilled. And so it kind of made it very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I feel like it takes him a little while to get the words out. So then he did, and then she says, I feel like it was very rehearsed. And I was like, I don't get that from Paul. I don't get that side from Paul. I feel like he's very open to...
But also, again, the mom really, didn't know, for what they showed, really wasn't supportive of it from the very beginning.
That's true.
Because of him having 4 kids, or...
That's true.
And other things like that. So it already has that go.
That sting, yeah.
That she was pretty much against it from the beginning.
Yeah.
But...
That's true. I mean, and I think just Paul's, he's like, when they asked about kids, he was like, I would have kids with Cali, and kids don't bother me. Having more kids around doesn't bother me. And it was like, that's, that's something. And I feel like, too, that's a question you ask the person you're with, not, you don't need their family's permission. Anyway, so you can tell after a while that it starts to kind of stick in Cali's head, because she starts letting her family's input start to bring doubt in her head. So everything, again, from the start, like at the start, she was like, I felt like almost like an attack on him. Everything out of his mouth, like, she was attacking him. And then it was like back, like they went and they started leveling out again, and then it was like bam, like she just had all these doubts. Well, then Cali's mom watches the kids overnight, so he takes her to a bed and breakfast, and he like sets it all up with dinner and flowers, and he's gonna tell her what she really means to him. And I was like, yeah, and man, he had it all set up, and I feel like he really like poured his heart out into it and just really, really tried really hard. Yeah. And he tells her he loves her. And that girl just rips into him and just goes into the attack. And I was like, boo-boo, man, just relax a little bit. And he just says, like, I'm not going to spend my entire life trying to make you happy if what I have is not enough. Like, I'm not going to sit here and fight to give you something that you're just not happy with. And because it's not doing you any good, it's not doing them any good. They're not happy to be there. They're not happy with you. It's like, it's not worth it. So, and then, and I feel like every time he did, and it's just what we saw, like every time the poor man tried, it was like, she shot him down. And so it was just one of those things. It was like, oh, poor Paul. Okay, so the night just kind of abruptly ends, and he gets really, really upset and just walks off even from the cameras, because like you could just see, and I don't know, it was really sad. And then, and I was one to say, like, my notes was if you could not like say it back, like I love you back, it's okay to say I can't say that right now, or I can't say that, but it doesn't mean in the future I won't be able to. Or, you know, I don't know. I don't think I would have been able to attack in that moment.
Yeah, I think she still had just her family pressure already, and you know, she's the one that really wants to know kind of where she stands. She wants to have that security, I guess. So.
Well, and then she was like, we can work on these. And he was like, no, if you're not happy with me, this isn't going to work. Like, and I was glad that he, like, took a stand. He was like, no, you have to be happy with me. Like, if you're not, then this isn't going to work. And then, so that evening kind of ends there. Well, then the next day, they go and sit somewhere. I'm not quite sure where they were at, but they go and sit.
I think it's a park.
They go and sit. And she apologizes for letting her family kind of get in her head. And she wants him, you know, she tells him she loves him. She wants to try. She wants, you know, a future with him and everything. And so it does seem like, you know, oh, this could really try. And then we see the first
connection.
And flashback. Dude, did you miss that? The little flashback of their whole little relationship. Aww, it was so cute. The first official flashback. Okay, so that was super cute. Okay, so we had that. Next. Oh, but here's some updated news on the front. So as of today, this is Monday, the day after the finale. Mr. Paul tagged another girl that he was dating. So it looks like they're not dating. And basically we found like a rumor thing that, or another post that, you want to share that part?
That I guess it's just kind of more of probably her family still got to her.
We don't know that for sure.
Yeah, and you know, it was just something that was out there on the internet, I guess, and it was posted, you know, from the page, and that, you know, he was just kind of really wasn't getting to a point where, I guess, not seeing each other, and she wasn't, either him or her wasn't making the move to come together. Like,
well, and I feel like, honestly, think about it this way. I don't know the circumstances completely for both of them, but for a father of 4 who has a home and the kids have a routine in Mississippi, it would be easier for Cali to move from North Carolina to Mississippi. You would, you know, calm down. However, I don't know what she had in North Carolina that would make that move, if it would make the move easier for him. Especially being that he had kids, or being that their mom, I guess, still lived in Mississippi because they still saw the mom. So, at one point he did mention that, you know, being interested in moving to North Carolina to be with her. At the same time, I feel like he may have tried or looked into that and realized that that was going to be a lot harder than he thought, because I feel like that would have been going to court and everything else, trying to figure out how to move 4 kids and dealing with custody and stuff. So, that's just my opinion. I don't really know. Okay, so.
But congrats, Paul.
Yes,
hopefully,
congratulations.
I did like him. Out.
I did like him. Okay, so last, and supposedly, rumor is, fan favorite, which I can see why. Mike Valene and Mr. Little Mikey. Yeah, he was the favorite. Hands down, Mikey won. Like, out of everybody, all the dads and everybody, Mikey was the favorite. That's how Mike got the fan favorite, because of Mikey. Okay. So, you know how they had that, like, she blew up his phone and everything, and then he just went and stayed at his cousin's house because he was like, no. Okay, so he returns back, and he doesn't take Mikey with him, which we kind of figured he was going to do.
Yeah.
And he walks in and he's like, hey, I need to talk to you. Come talk to me. And apparently I don't know if she walked into the room or if she was in the room or whatever, but she was like, he's like, can I come in? And so he goes in there to talk to her. And they start fighting, I guess, in a way. Like, arguing back and forth. And I feel like that was kind of cut, like, edited there. Because it was like, I don't know, the way that was.
Yeah.
The way that
it was just
thrown
just
together.
I mean, but, you know, she's very she attacks a lot on her.
Yeah, I feel like she did have a temper. I mean, yeah, I'm sure
like
she
it was
did.
all, the way they showed it was more or less like it was all about her.
Yeah,
like,
but I feel like that was badly edited there. Okay, so. And she basically what she says is she wanted to feel like he cared about, you know, and he was telling her that his concern was her fighting with Mikey there. He couldn't have that. Her temper, her losing control of her temper. He was like, some of the things that you said to me, you know, it was out of line. And you know, he didn't agree. Now, they do make up, like all couples do. They make up after a fight. And then they go to pick
a blueberry patch.
Yes. And she realizes there that she says she never really apologized to him for her part in there. And I did. I felt like she needed to. Like, you didn't really need to blow up his phone like that, you know. He needed to calm down just as much as she did. Like, everything that happened, I mean, yes, Mikey needed him. Yes, Mikey was being a 6-year-old. Yes, he could have been like, Mikey, chill out. You know, I'm busy right now. At the same time, I felt like maybe she wasn't being as understanding. And so, basically, she does apologize, and he, you know, he accepts it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how Mikey says, Dad loves Valene so much that they kiss on the lips. I was like, that kid is something else. But I like even, like, when she's talking to him and she's, like, apologizing and stuff and Mikey's there, she does it in a way that Mikey's picking blueberries and stuff, and they're having this conversation, but it's like Mikey has no idea what's really going on. I mean, because I was like, oh, man, let's not start another fight. But she did it in a way that was really, really good. And then later, they go to the beach. And
because it was coming to an end, and
yeah,
talk about they buried Mikey in the sand, and they went to talk, and
yeah, and then
Mikey was burying them in the sand. I believe it showed the bit of that.
Yeah, and then they said that, like, they basically they told each other they loved each other.
Yeah,
and because he said he had fallen for her.
And he asked her to move to Florida.
And she agreed. She's like, yes. And then we see our second little flashback of their relationship. And then since then, we do know Mike put on his Facebook that he is single, and then he put this like questionnaire for dating application on there. Did you see that? I was like, oh brother. And then so they did that, and then he did post on there about Valene. You want to talk about that? The side part that we didn't see.
I didn't read it. So.
Okay, so basically, I mean, not to get too in depth, but he said that she was really good to him and Mikey, and that he wished that we'd have got to see more of that side of it, and not so much the drama side, because like the side that we saw, it was like she's not the person for him,
and that is one thing people have got to realize, that these shows they're ratings driven, so they're gonna want to draw what's the drama, what's the catch, that's gonna catch people's attention to really watch, whether it frustrates you or whatnot. And then you want to see a happy ending at the end, which is at the end, and it seems like a couple of them were connecting and gonna move forward, and then okay, it's all over with, and now we're hearing that nobody is still together. So
but I think it was good, and I think because I mean, honestly, if you look at it, you'd be like, oh, I didn't like half those people on there, but I mean, you're getting like 5 minutes worth of actual people time, and you're only getting a part of how much does TLC have? How many hours of video does TLC have that they don't even show us? And stuff like that. So I definitely think, and like all the dads that have posted anything on social media or anything have all said that they were glad that they did it. That they all had something nice to say about the women. The men had all something nice to say about each other. And they all said that the experience was great. And so I feel like, you can learn a lot from opening yourself up. And I think that they learned a lot about themselves. Oh, maybe I wasn't quite as ready as I thought I was. Your things change for your kids. Things
happen.
And I like Paul, on Paul's social media page, he talked about like parenting. He gave parenting advice on there one time. I was like, yeah, that's actually pretty smart. Like, how does a single dad like bond with all 4 of his kids? And his advice was like each night one of his kids got a different night that they got to spend one-on-one time with dad. And then they had like church nights, and then they had like a family night, and it was like, oh, that's really smart, Dad. But yeah, he gave that advice. I was like, that's how you do it. So so it's been a very, very, very good season. I'm kind of sad it's over already.
It did seem to go by real quick and stuff. It was, we learned from that show as well, and we could relate to a lot of that, because we did online dating, so it's like, oh yeah, I remember that, or oh yes, I remember this, or yep,
it was good. So we do hear the rumors that they're looking for more dads for the 2nd season. However, they have not confirmed whether they're bringing it back or not. But I think they should. Don't you? Don't you think they should bring it back? So far, I've enjoyed it a lot. I'd like to see other dads.
And then, of course, then there's the moms. They're saying, oh, what about not making
single seeking moms?
Single mom seeking. I mean,
you could do like a flip-flop.
But, I mean, I'm glad that they do, because it seems like a lot of shows is more on the moms.
That's true.
And stuff. So, and now they had a dad show. It was cool.
It was. So, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, link them down below. Get the conversation going in the comments. And we'll see you guys later for another video.
Keep in touch.
Yeah.
Later.
Bye.